Hi, I'm Philo, and welcome to a quick rundown of the Diabotical July update. I'm going to start with the big news here because I've clickbaited the title of this video. There is going to be a Diabotical stress test for 24 hours on the 25th of July, or the morning of the 26th if you're an Australian like myself. 24 hours of fun. It seems like a lot of the content for the game is going to be there. Too Good used the word most to describe how much of the content that currently exists is going to be available. But there's going to be no battle pass and no like real money functionality or anything. And the plan seems really cool. They're going to run the game for 24 hours and then bring it down and address any horrible game-breaking bugs that have been raised. Then they're going to bring it back up for another 24-hour test, and then it should be pretty much good to go. They just need to integrate the shop, and they'll be ready for open beta throughout August, and then ready to start their tournament series in September. So hopefully, guys, we're just around the corner. And on top of that, Too Good talked about a few other improvements and stuff. There was actually a lot of content in this stream for just a quick 37-minute update. So I'm going to start by running down the maps that Too Good showed. Alright, so the first map we saw was Marina. This is going to be a MacGuffin map. I can't really talk too much about the geometry or anything, it's just Too Good jumping around, but it's looking lovely, and there are, importantly, boats. So, game of the year. Then we saw Icefall. We've seen this a bit already. We saw, I think Promus was working on this in a mapping stream about a month ago. Again, this map looks absolutely gorgeous. Too Good just kind of jumped around, talked about, the red armor area, being able to push from red armor in towards, like, the pincer, I think. It's looking like a really strong TDM map. Then we saw Sunken, which, again, has been shown in previous streams. MacGuffin, and I think Too Good actually said it can be played in TDM as well, which looks really good. I love a, good dual-purpose map if it's fit for the task. Again, like three very different styles of map here. Sunken, a lot darker, a lot, kind of more like, I guess, natural than the other two. And then the more interesting part for me, just these team modes, like, you're never really going to understand them until you've played them. But Too Good got to show some dual maps, and I think dual maps are a bit easier to kind of gauge at a glance, and he talked a bit about their philosophy for dual maps in general. So we saw Perilous, a new dual map by Abraxas with contributions by various other people, and the main thing Too Good talked about here is that this is a bigger map than we saw in the previous beta test, which is really great because a lot of people, myself included, weren't fans of the small maps. Junior and Bioplant, like, they just weren't doing it for me. The other map we saw was Napalm 3D04, to be named. Too Good described it as having a weird mix of geometry from Aerowalk and Sinister kind of glued together, which is hilarious, I think. But he said it works really well. It looks really good. Like, the art style for Napalm 3D04 especially, it spoke to me. I think this was... It just looks nice as a dual map. I think, like, the dunes outside and stuff, and this really industrial look. It actually almost kind of reminds me of the Unreal Tournament 4 map, in a way. But yeah, these maps are looking good, and Too Good's discussion of, a direction towards more tactical and just physically larger dual maps is great. He did also mention Fisk's House and Junior, that they will be getting a remix. So they're not going to be like competitive maps, and they're not actually, it sounds like, going to even be in the game at launch, but they'll come back into custom games sometime during Season 1, and if they're well received, they can come into ranked play from there. Alright, so other than maps, there are a few other bits and pieces. The Crosshair Editor was shown, which has somehow gotten even more powerful. It actually looks silly now, how much you can do with it. So I'm going to have fun playing with that on launch for sure. I love any like customization stuff. I want to work out just how far you can push it. He also talked about a Hud System Rework. Nothing really like visual here that I can show, but basically he talked about that in team modes there were so many HUD elements updating that it was impacting performance. So they've spent 2 weeks just like re-implementing how the HUD works. And they're getting much better performance from it, which sounds really, really good. There have been changes to Brawl free-for-all. So in the closed beta test, when you died in Brawl, you respawned with the gun that the person who killed you had. Now that'll only apply to the bottom half of the scoreboard. So basically, you don't just have a situation where everyone has a rocket or an LG. And honestly, like, free-for-all is a pretty pubby mode. I think it's okay to help weaker players. If anything, like, I doubt it'll change the dynamics of games too much. It'll, in some ways, just, like, incentivize you to get kills on weaker players to, like, farm their guns, but then it gives the weaker player a fighting chance in a different way. So I think it might be a good change. Wipeout is going to be 5v5, presumably, unless, it sucks in the 24-hour tests or something, or, it can be tweaked after launch. Like, the main thing Too Good talks about in these updates is that everything seems pretty flexible, but yeah, Wipeout going back to 5v5, and it's going to be an easily queuable, like, casual mode, I guess, casual mode. One of the things you click on from the main screen. TDM guns have been changed to 25 seconds, which is going to impact how they like sync up with armors and stuff, which is going to be interesting. I guess, you can't necessarily get an armor and then go to a gun unless you get them into a cycle. So I don't know how I feel about this. I think this actually might be abusable, especially with 3v3s, but if it's been playtested and Too Good's a fan of it, I trust his judgment with TDM. He has played quite a bit of TDM. He's a good TDM player. A really big change, I think, is Too Good talking about their improvements to sounds overall. I think this can best be demonstrated by showing the new shotgun sound. It's pretty meaty, pretty beefy. I'm a big fan. I think the shotgun was one of the, maybe one of the worst offenders for just not having a lot of punch before. So if all of the guns are reworked to have punch like this, the game is just going to feel a lot more rewarding. And also the dodge, the bolt has been rebalanced, and basically Too Good said they've balanced it around phase. I don't want to talk a lot about this without actually getting my hands on it and playing it, so I'll probably do a hot take on the movement in this game once we've had access to the 24-hour test. Alright, and we also saw a little bit of the customization. So there are going to be eggshells, which can be, like applied on top of your model. I think these were showed 1 or 2 updates ago, or at least mentioned. We got to see some weapon skins, which are fairly simple for now, but I think they add a lot of like texture to the guns, and the honeycomb really appeals to me. Some of the geometric patterns really appeal. And Too Good also talked about the streamer rewards, where like, his example was the Spud Hunter sends in an avatar that he has on his account, and then people who watch his stream will get a special Spud Hunter themed avatar that they can use on their account and show their support, which I will most certainly be doing on launch. And a few other bits and bobs, I guess. There are going to be 100 stickers that you can unlock by completing achievements in the game, which sounds cool. Things like, I don't know, I guess like getting a certain number of railgun kills in a game or whatever. Just kind of like Quake Live achievements, I imagine, but actually you get rewards that you can show on your Eggbot. We got a glimpse of the daily challenge UI, which is great. He showed what the playlists are probably going to be. So like the casual ones, Arcade, Wipeout, and Brawl. And then the competitive one, we're going to have, Arena, Team, and Duel. So there's one team queue, which again, I think is an important change. Arena FPS, consolidate all your players, bring them all together, force TDM and CTF players to play each other's modes. When a team queue pops, everyone votes, and you end up with TDM, MacGuffin. I think that's it. Maybe Wipeout as well. I can't remember. I'll have to double check, and I will show, if I can, in the video. Quality, guys. High production value here. 15 minutes before I go to bed. Alright, well that was a lightning fast rundown. I thought it'd be good to do something kind of halfway in between the Reddit post and the full 37-minute VOD, especially for people who want to see footage of the new maps and just get a sense for like the art style and stuff this game's going for. Obviously there are still going to be people who say this is a child game and whatever, but I'm really enjoying the style, and I think a map like Napalm 3D04, Icefall, they've got a really distinct feel, and I think it is definitely like, it's a little bit more mature as the maps get more finalized. But anyway, this has been a quick rundown. I'm hoping to do more content like this as the game comes into launch, just keep people in the loop. Again, maybe actually show some visuals for people who want more than a Reddit post, but not a full like 30-40 minute VOD. And I'm definitely going to be recording as much footage as I can to get some videos out during the 24-hour stress test, if we're allowed to. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe, all that classic YouTube stuff. Check out some of my other series on the go at the moment. I've been Phylum. Thank you very much.